All right, people are shuffling. Okay, so my name is James Ganas. I'm going to be emceeing, quote unquote, this event tonight, and it should be a really incredible night for poetry and stories. So get ready. We have 4 readers today. I'm one of them, and then there are 3 other people. The first of these people is Raul Alvarez. To the best of my knowledge, Raul went to school with Steve Roggenbuck, another one of the readers in Chicago. He has a website called RaulAlvarez.com, which you can Google if you like his poetry. So, I'll let him go.
Thank you, James. Thanks, everybody. So I just moved here from Chicago a couple weeks ago, and oh god, manipulating these are really weird. I just moved here recently, and I'm really excited about it. Chicago is like super lovely and wonderful, but it's very cold, so it's really great to be somewhere that is not. I was going to read 3, but I'm just going to read 2 poems. Keep it kind of quick. They're kind of long, but they are nice, hopefully. And the first one is dedicated to all of you. And it's called, "It's Important to Be Happy About How Sad You Are." I started this poem because the other night I couldn't sleep, and for the first time in a few weeks I noticed how beautiful the woman in the picture I keep by my bookshelf is. And I don't know who the woman is for sure, but I think we're related because I found the picture in my grandfather's sock drawer a few days after he died when I was going through all his things because I didn't know what else to do. But what I want to ask you is, have you heard the mountains today? They're still up after all these years. But what I want to ask you is, you know when you think your phone made a noise, but when you check it, you realize it didn't make a noise, and instead the noise or the vibration or whatever you thought you heard or saw was just in your head, and probably it's a manifestation of your desire to be connected to people more, which is so beautiful. I love you so much because you're filled with blood, and God made you a scrapbook of all the times you avoided eye contact with somebody on the street asking for change. They actually made a Facebook album of this, and it's titled "Everybody Does This All the Time," but the key is to feel bad about it. Just kidding. There is no God, and you can't use that many words in a Facebook album title anyway. You only have like 40 characters, and God wouldn't be mean to you because he loves you. Let me tell you a quick story. This one time, a man asked me for change at the LaSalle Blue Line station in Chicago, and I had $40 in my pocket, so I told the man no, and he paused, and then he asked if I had any change, and I said no, and he paused, and he asked, "Do you have any change?" And I said I do, but I didn't want to give him any, and he asked me why I lied to him twice, and I told him that it was easier than telling him I didn't love him, and he said, "Why did I lie to him again?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Raul, I know you love me," and he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and we stood there while 10,000 trains came and went, and I called him father, and he called me a beautiful pile of feelings, and when I think about him, my fingers turn pink. Oh, I forgot to tell you that every night we have the same dream, but can't remember it. But I cut a hole in the ground beneath my apartment and dug my way down where all the bones are and saw they spelled out, "The dream is that we are the same person. So guess what? You're my twin. Isn't that great?" But what I want to ask you is, why can't we recognize when someone is saying "I love you" in our immediate proximity? And I don't mean like when our mom says it to our dad, or when our dog says it to our garbage can, or when our hair says it to our comb, or whatever, but when everybody in a crowd says it quietly inside themselves. Is it because we haven't read the bones right? Hold on, I think my phone is trying to tell me something. Status update. Sanity is the first time leaflets curl out of wood. Status update. Sanity is the song you can't get out of your head after a particularly incredible makeout session with someone you just met. Status update. Sanity is a little bug you're too tired to deal with right now. Oh my God, you're my best friend today. Oh my God, it's so unfair that there are more people than houses. If only we could make more houses. To celebrate making it through another Monday, I made you a necklace that says Youth Culture Forever and a bracelet that says Taco Party at My Place. If you want to know why I'm being a little bit coy, it's because when my mother tried to kill herself, it didn't work because I'm one of the lucky ones and she's a great mom. And I told her I was writing this poem and asked if it'd be okay to get a statement from her for it. And she said, honey, you can have anything you want because I love you. And I know I've said I love you too many times in this poem, but it's okay because it's a rhetorical device. Rhetorical devices are language tricks you can use to tell people you love them. What I'm saying is that I love people. What I'm saying is that if there's anything worthwhile about growing up religious, it's that you will never stop believing in magic no matter what you tell yourself. What I'm saying is saying that you're saying things can be a political act or even something else. I have a dear friend who sleeps in my bed when his insides are on fire because my bed is all the oceans. I have a dear friend who calls me every night at 3 a.m. to tell me what the moon is doing. I have a dear friend whose eyes are made of very shy birds. I have a dear friend who eats clouds for breakfast. I have a dear friend who wants your teeth to be her teeth. I have a dear friend who lives inside a bus and you can ask for a ride anytime and they'll take you wherever you need to go because they love driving. I even have a really, really good friend who has the phrase sentimentality rules inside his lip. If you have a problem with this poem, you can go talk to him. This is something. You can be friends with someone you just met if the rain holds up. You can be friends with someone even if you're comprised of broken pieces. The pieces still work fine, I promise. Oh God, is there anything like the summer? I think so. I think you are when you're still alive because we say your name so often. So much can be erased by not saying, but you're here because we're chatterboxes. Sleep is okay if you're into playing dead, but saying you is so much better. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. It is so nice to be here. I want to thank my friend Steve for inviting me. He's an incredible poet, and if you haven't had the ability to hear his work yet, he's just super inspirational. And I'm so excited to hear James read. I'm so excited to hear Elissa read as well. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I feel so welcomed in the city, so thank you very much. The last poem that I'm going to read is sort of a poem and sort of just like a lot of stuff. Okay, so there's two ways I could do it. I could do it like a really normal way where I just like read it, or if you want, you don't have to. But if you want, then after every line or whatever, there's like, I could like raise my hand. I've done this one time and it didn't go over super well. But you could like I'll raise my hand and then you can scream out like a word. And the word that people chose last time was joy, because the poem is called Notes on Joy. But you could say whatever. You could say like love or fuck or like Bill Cosby or whatever. Don't say Bill Cosby. But like you can say whatever you want. So like, do you want to do it that way or do you just Okay, cool. Okay, it's gonna be weird. Okay, so I kind of hope that you want to do it the other way, but this is probably that's for fun. It's probably better. Okay, so I'm gonna read a line, and then when I raise my hands up, just like yell, just whatever, like and then I'll keep going. And it's gonna be a little messy because I'm probably gonna lose my spot, but it'll be fun. And then that'll be the end. Okay, this is called Notes on Joy. Oh, also one more thing. The first 3 lines I totally stole from Wikipedia, so thank you, Wikipedia. First line. Serotonin is a monoamine neurotransmitter biochemically derived from tryptophan and is popularly thought to be a contributor to feelings of well-being and happiness. Yay! Approximately 90% of a human body's total serotonin is located in the enterochromaffin cells in the GI tract, where it is used to regulate intestinal movements. Psychic energy pooped out by essentially weightless tiny bugs in your intestines. Start with the wind, that empty-looking bowl of voices poured over everything. Pitched roofs, crabgrass, unburied roots, clapped doors, rotting wood. For hours we don't sleep. For hours we wait for our names to pour through the mostly closed bedroom window. These are my 10 fingers. They're all I have, but they have known the way water lingers after running through the gaps between them when I hold them together like a cup. Watercolors. I like that more than anything. It is an honor to shut my mouth and listen to the goodness inside of everyone I've ever met. When Saturday sows itself into Sunday, remember you can spill into everyone you meet and still weigh the same at the end of the day. The lights downtown thrill as slowly as fingernails.
Yeah.
You're getting a little scared now.
Should all just do watercolor.
Yeah, okay, let's just do that. Everyone do watercolors so that you don't feel weird about like coming up with something cooler than the other person, and it'll be way easier. This one's longer, so you have a little bit of time to get pumped up. The lake, the shore, the blurry part in between them, perfect for getting your feet wet, a BuzzFeed slideshow of baby animals, the little quarter slot in the telephone booth or arcade game, waking up next to somebody and not wanting to run away, a half sunny and half stormy sky, unwrapping something you're really into, a fully paid debt, working it out with your parents, brunch, the day after you finished mourning, laughing maniacally to yourself as the sun comes up halfway through your drive across the country in the dead of the worst winter 100 years to bury the man who taught you what shame feels like, opening a bag of chips, popping a zit, mail you can actually touch with your hands, a close friend who knows what you need before you do, pretty much everything The Onion publishes lately, emo music, pants that fit real good, not having to be embarrassed anymore. Sit and wonder on the knee of the universe. No memory of pain and no memory of loss. Fuck that. Take pain and loss like late season snow into your mouth. When you're lucky, you'll wake up with it in you, salt lashes tangled in the shallow quarries of your skin, a testimony of molting. Also, just so you know, you've got some of last night's dreams stuck in your teeth. What if we could gather ghosts like seashells, sift through a shoreline of ashes for some impatient energy hungry for someone to bring them home? Bless everybody, call everyone friend. Trust stupidly and brazenly. Tell everyone you pass quietly and gently that they are so very lovely. I do this thing everybody does when I listen to music very loudly and by myself, I explode. I want to be haunted pretty much forever. One of the holy states of being we get to share with other species is, well, I don't know, look at a dog. You know what I mean. An extraordinarily small fraction of a second when you are fully present because you are experiencing something real and true and beautiful. Now you're sad again. That time we find an abandoned upside-down boat next to a dumpster near the lake, and it looks quasi-floaty with a Floridian pale blue paint job and cream-colored oars, the whole nine, and without saying a word, we drag it toward the water 50 yards out, but it is dead body heavy, and the hull scrapes awful against the gritty concrete, and midday July sun is actively trying to kill us, and beautiful people who run along the shore point at our struggle as our hair faints on our ruddy skin until we reach the harsh edge of the man-made shoreline, where, oh my god, it fucking becomes a real-ass boat instead of a very hard-to-drag crescent, and we wave at everyone who shudders under the growing infinity in our eyes as we roll and paddle and flail our arms while the horizon watches us approaching. Or what if we forget the boat and spend the day together and open all the flowers the ground is saving for the spring? Pink flowers, purple flowers, flowers shaped like chess pieces, little shitty flowers you sort of hate to waste your time looking at but do anyway because you know they're trying, bloody flowers, an incredibly tall flower that attaches itself to your body and downloads all your memories into itself, 3 evil ones, a flower that might be your soulmate, and several million dandelions. The window is still open. Your name is somewhere out there. I know it. Do you think the bugs are being nice when they send you that energy, or are they just doing what they're supposed to do? Is it fatalist to think of microscopic gut bugs in this way? And where would you keep the ghosts after you collected them? I really didn't think that part through. I finally hear something, but it's not the wind. I open the window all the way and jump out, and you can come too. We're high up, but it doesn't matter because this is a poem. You can fall from a great height in a poem and not get hurt. Okay, what I heard was just the beginning of a large rain, but this is perfect. Put your hands on mine, make them into a cup, invite your mom, your favorite pet, your friends, whoever is into this, and tell them to do it because we're going to need a big cup. While we wait for everyone else to arrive, we listen. Thank you very much.
Well, what an exciting and beautiful and positive way to begin this evening. Really great. Appreciate that a lot. Had a great time. Moving on. There are other poets here tonight as well, although whether any of them can best that performance is truly to be determined. Elissa Ball is next. She writes, she had a book published in 2012 that you can find on the back table near the entrance and exit
It's really good.
to the building called The Punks Are Writing Love Songs.
Wait, so the URL for this is hollowearth.org/.
Yeah. The
Hollywood Radio. Whoa.
yeah. So we're gonna have Elissa read. It's gonna be real great. One quick note on Raul's reading I just want to mention is that it's a good thing that I did not wear my jean jacket with 2 buttons over the left breast pocket also. Here's Elissa.
Thank you, Hollywood, for having me, and Steve, thank you for letting me join the show, and for being so fucking sincere. And he's like the Nirvana of poetry. He's like, to me, in the history of poetry, Steve's like Walt Whitman. He's like, here's this new fucking thing that you can do, this new thing. That your voice is so unique. Thank you. This loneliness you're suffering, make it louder, sloppier, plug into the amp of self-loathing and strangle its knob up to 10. Consider Lisa Simpson. Her isolating intellectualism. Recall how she rises each day wholly alone. Be her sobbing saxophone bouncing blue notes off Springfield's brick alleyways. Make your screams the prairie fire that clears old growth from your throat. Burn blacker, let your lack grow permanent teeth and dash those whites to damn the gods who made millions of mortals, yet left you alone to slurp soup on a weekend night. Especially damn that laughing couple on bikes, pretending to be friends when there is nothing platonic about a bike ride ever. This dry spell of yours has reached hallucinatory levels. Embrace the visuals. Spiral inward till you're coiled like a pill bug, till you vomit new constellations on a stranger's carpets. Don't stop your opera yet! The pen, the draws, the spiral of this loneliness never lifts from the page. Why haven't you, spontaneously human combusted by now, burst into an Unsolved Mysteries episode already? Be that clutch of notes Lisa's saxophone spits over and over as if practicing for death. This loneliness is the happy couple's bicycle chain, crunching toward infinity. This loneliness will last forever, you think, and this loneliness responds by lasting forever. Thank you all so much for listening to poetry on a Sunday night. Alright, this is new. And yeah, my name is Elissa Ball. I also read tarot every Saturday at Cairo. This is called Taboo Button. Mock love, true lust, hard fuck, light touch, overreach, flight, kiss, long trek to your open mouth, heart closed, invite only, limited seating, mute paint, hot text, cold call, separate agendas, mutual aid, old friend, new lay, shared crave, wagon flip, sunrise, taboo button press. Are you? Sorry. Can I come over, come on your chest, your place? Are you up? How drunk are you? Same screen, different page. Go down on my dignity. Roll over, heavy sleep. This is just, no pressure. Test run. Sample size. Just friends. Like a cousin, little brother, Wrong vibe. Curse stars, harsh card, rough spin, egg fall. No dice. Thank you very much. Yeah, your book, Love Poems, it's up there, like $12 if you have it, and I want to donate some of it to Albert. Sorry about your break-in. Damn, that poem. Oh, I date a lot of people who like blow our savings on Skyrim mods. You know what I mean? That's why I love them too. All right, I'm just gonna go like 5 more minutes. This is a short series. Speaking of gamers and nerds. Okay. This is called Distracted. I want to know what it's like on the inside of your mouth. I want to know what the inside of your mouth feels like. I want to know how it feels on the inside of your mouth. This is called Distracted 2. I want to know what it's like on the inside of your moth. I want to know what the inside of your moth feels like. I want to know how it feels on the inside of your moth. This is called Lust Love Poem. I just liked your dick so much it was hard not to get emotional about it. Yeah, and I have this book. This book that came out, Boner Jokes, meta boner jokes. It's sold out. We'll have more in the future. It's called Personal Growth. The title of this is just like a shape. It's like a triangle. And this is Young Jet in the black heart. Okay. You want me to be happy for the two of you. Ooh. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Observational. I noticed you washed your hands after you fingered me. I noticed you did not wash your hands before you fingered me. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do. This is, have we seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
The original? The only one that matters. Alright, this is my last one, and I just also want to encourage white folks to read about white privilege and just learn about that. Because it can be a heart-opening process. It doesn't have to be scary and like, yeah, learn about white privilege. Jurassic Park love poem. The water drop that trickles down the back of Dr. Ellie Sattler's palm, her fine blonde hair zigzagging its path into chaos. This is how I'm starting to love you. Hold on to your butts! Things could get weird. I know you think the word love should be unutterable, like how some Jews spell God Olus, but what good is a love locked up in hard amber? I am soaked in fresh sap for you. You make my stomach the green gelatin trembling on Lex's spoon. I am alive. I am nowhere near extinct, and I am telling you. I have settled for a diet of goat meat for too many eons. You are my buffet table in the middle of a perilous jungle, and I would happily plunge my right arm into your grossest pile of shit, your neuroses grasp up to the armpit for a scientific clue to the mystery that is you. Oh, is it? I'm scared too. My heart is fully dilated. I can hear a rescue chopper hovering above us, and I'm not certain in which direction we should head. I only know if we hesitate here any longer, some large carnivore will surely devour one of us. Thank you very much. Thank you to Raul and James.
All right. How does it? That sounds great. So that was Elissa. Actually, I feel like her name's Elissa, and I keep saying it's Elissa. What the fuck is this ring? Jesus. All right. So, does anybody know what this is going on?
The other mic.
I see. Look at me emceeing this poetry reading all by myself. Just kidding. That's a lead-in. I've had a lot of help putting this on. As you can tell, due to my deficiencies in a lot of areas. Anyway, so I've had a lot of help from Elissa and Raul and Steve and Bree, who you just saw, in addition to Garrett Kelly, who helped by providing the space and working the audio. Very cool, very awesome. Say thanks to them if you see them. You'll notice them. They're great. So that was James, the MC, and then James the Poet is going to make his appearance. And James the Poet is a lot cooler than James the MC, so get excited. I think the first main thing that I just want to talk about real quick is that it's exciting to read with Steve again because he put out my ebook, which is called James Ganas Was My Best Friend, and I'm Sorry He Died So Young of Cancer, which you can find soon enough on the URL jamesganasbestfriend.com. I think it's funny. Anyways. So lately I've been doing a few poems where the title of the poem is just the poem, and so we'll see how those go over. They're sort of new. All right, here's the first one. Google 9/11 Inside Job is the name of my fantasy football team. So you can receive that however you want to. And I'll do another one like that. Rake in the cash on home equity loans. So if you like poetry, you're in the right place. We've done a good job, and poetry's taken the next step into the digital age. Okay. Now for some poems that you might recognize from, they sound more like poems. Here's this one. Brave, 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 dead, 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 dead. See more daily affirmations at brooklynjesus.net. If you warm up the crowd, they'll listen to anything. It doesn't even matter what the fuck you do. All right, here's another one. Hey James, you live at the blue house I moved out of. Thanks for giving me those chairs. I was just seeing if my tax return got sent to my old address. Let me know if you've seen it. I think Raul pointed to how you gotta appreciate the small moments in life. You know, people brought together over tax returns. It's an amazing thing. I gave somebody some chairs one time. And I haven't since then, but I recommend it if you have the time and chairs. We'll do some more. I don't know. I'm in kind of a goofy mood tonight, so I want to play for that, you know, for a little bit, and then I'll try to do some beautiful shit later if I can. We all have it in it. We all have it in us, I should say. All right. Actually, I'm going to go straight emotional real quick. This one is called Valley, so here we go. Kiss me a little bit, then tell me that I'm wearing too much chapstick. Don't be afraid to bite. The wind is blowing, and we are both burned from it. No one is around, and no one cares. I tie my hair in a psych knot. You pull off your knitted socks. Who thought life together would be so easy? I've taken enough personality tests to know we both believe in nothing but the quick and the good. Tell me about your teleology. Let me read your palms. It is hard to love, but we are both standing in a valley. Who thought life could be so easy, so good? So that's that one. And it comes in short bursts because now we're back. Thank you for the beautiful letter dated 21st February. I love your new dog and family. You and Felicity are in our prayers always. James. You ever read a letter? I am good at having a girlfriend in April. 2 of the last 3 Aprils, I have had a girlfriend. Nice. That's a little joke about ingrained misogyny. So it's funny. Alright, this one is called Alling. His eyes made the grass green. The color of his iris, released from the body, transmutated, then replicated for miles and miles across. He only saw what he was and only had the ability to see that which constituted him from sea to seafoam sea. If you like rhythm, and if you don't, I like rhythm. I'd say, personally. We'll do like 1 more and then 2 more after that. So I guess that's 3. I burned my dad alive today. It wasn't personal. I wasn't mad at him. I only did it because there are a million things I could do, and that was one of them. I was going to say is one of them, but I can't do that anymore because my dad is dead now since I burned him. And you can't burn dead bodies. That is disrespectful. I don't feel anything harmful or bad. I am grateful, alive to the possibilities of the world. Unlike my dad, who is dead, since I burned him. I was always sort of a bad son anyways, so if you ask my dad, I bet he would tell you that he expected this to happen one day, that I would recognize and exercise my power over living beings. However, relatedly, you cannot ask my dad, because he is dead, since I burned him. And I have a lot of poems that are about, like, my dad dying, and I think my dad, that's part of why I've never told my dad that I write poetry. He's still totally in the dark about that aspect of my life, and I think much of it has to do with the fact that there are just dad murder fantasies, and I just don't want to get into that conversation. He's old. So 2 more. The first one is called XOXO Forever Yours True Romantic. I dress myself in a blue frock and yellow waistcoat and sip from a glass of wine. I watch a man in a suit smoke a cigarette in a red Jeep Wrangler. I walk 3 miles with my feet to your cousin's funeral because how else would I get there? I steal a cardboard cutout of Mahavatar Babaji from Urban Outfitters and meditate near it in my room. I give the keynote eulogy at your cousin's funeral. I don't know you, but I am sorry that you died, I say. My name is James, and I am 21 years old, and I have long hair. Your family looks on nonplussed. I deliver a carton of cigarettes to your doorstep with a note while you are at work. The note reads, XOXO, forever yours, true romantic. I write the obituary for your cousin in the local alternative newspaper. Farewell, Charlotte. I sit in a cherry tree and scream at all passers beneath. I'll never forget what you people have done. I will die before I turn 30. I pray for myself. I say amen. And I have one more, called I Wake to My Body in the Strangest Places. Metallic taste in mouths from blood on gums and lost teeth. Pressure of the humid balm. Bush that sprouts 10 legs and lives. Giraffe with the elementary posture licking salt. Puts pressure on a human palm. I wake to my body in the strangest places. So again, thanks a lot, and Steve Roggenbuck is going to read next. He doesn't really need much of an introduction, but if you don't know him, you will soon. So.
Yes. Was anybody here? I know James was there. Anybody else there? I did a reading 2 or 3 years ago in Seattle, and I started it by saying, Seattle Supersonics! And I didn't know that it wasn't a team anymore. And people told me that I was wrong. I was shut down! Thanks, everybody, for coming out. I'm going to read you a bunch of goofy stories. This first one is called, I Want to Have Sex with Will Smith Watching. Hi, Merle. You're looking hot as heck today. Good dog. That is what Michael said today when he woke up in life to see his cute and sexy dog Merle bear it all on national TV. What a nice day to be alive. Michael pours a hot cup of coffee into his bedsheets. There is no point to stay calm about life, Michael thinks Michael thinks now. There is absolutely no reason. Just go buck wild most of the time, hee hee. That is Michael's thought process now. But there's a backstory of how this happened. Well, Merle was at a 100% gluten-free grocery store once to buy loaves of non-GMO rice bread. A wizard approached Merle with a gun and said, choose your destiny. Merle said without any pause at all, quote, I wish to be a stripper on cable TV. The wizard says, that's not what I meant. Also, I'm not a wizard. I'm just a guy who's robbing you. But then, Michael stepped out from behind a tall pile of bread, holding a sword. Wait 1 second, Michael says, attempting to save Merle's life. The robber says, who the heck are you? Michael says, I'm God's child. And then a gamma ray burst coming from light years away happens to hit the earth directly, and suddenly everything is on fire and everyone is screaming, and within 1 minute everyone on earth is dead. The end. Did anybody hear me read that one before?
Yeah.
That was at the one in the spring? I didn't mean to do that, but I read the title and I'm like, well, now I have to read it. So I apologize for that repeat. This is a storybook that I've been working on a lot. I'll tell you more about it in a little bit, but this is the advanced copy, so this is very rare, and I have these for sale if you're interested. I'll tell you a little more later, but I'll just get into this. This story is called I Can Probably Get a Horse to Kill Me. Once upon a time, there was a person named Shanna who practiced dark Satanism, and she was the most evil person alive. Her job was to build Satanist fucking dirt bikes. Okay, you may ask, what does that even mean? What is even a difference between Christian motocross and satanic motocross? How do you even know if you're hailing Satan with your bike? How do you really know? Well, Shanna was a postmodern motorcycle mechanic. Her work on motorcycles raised these questions without necessarily answering them. So, anyway, one day, God came into Shanna's auto garage, and God said, okay, Shanna, I see that you have talent like none other. Even though you make satanic ATVs and off-roading vehicles, I have to ask that you create a divine and Christian jet ski for me and my friends. Can you please? I have unlimited money and also everything else. Shanna said, heck no, I hail Satan only, hee hee. The end. Just kidding, it's not over. God said, what if I make Vin Diesel your husband and life love? Shanna said, no way, I only love Vin Diesel as a friend. That is gross. God said, you're weird. Then Shanna said, okay, never mind, I want to be married to Vin Diesel. Then Shanna made the best Christian jet ski that was ever made. And God had so much fun in the water. Everyone who saw it said, who's that little water bug? And it turned out, that's God. The end. Beach Sloth has texted me. Who here knows who Beach Sloth is? Hands in the air if you know Beach Sloth. Very rare. It's about half the room. So congratulations, Beach Sloth. Beach Sloth is listening. And Beach Sloth said, my roommates are Satanists and love kale. This, Beach Sloth is an internet blogger, for those of you who don't know. One of the sloths out there that like the internet. Okay, so this one is called People's Usual Reaction to Seeing a Cute Animal is Saying They Want to Own It. That's a nice-ass horse. I love horses. Patch says this while masturbating to a picture of two humans, no horse in sight. Patch's brother Bobby overhears this from the next room and excitedly opens the door to Patch's room, saying, please, Patch, I love horses. Patch openly keeps masturbating and just says, no, Bobby, this is my horse photography I took on vacation to South Dakota. Bobby is not at all fazed by the fact that Patch is masturbating, and he doesn't even seem upset about the horse photography. In fact, Bobby takes out his cell phone to make a completely unrelated phone call while still standing in the room. Hello? Yes. Existing customer. I would like to renew my subscription. Patch gets up and emotionlessly runs and just jumps through the glass window in his room, smashing outward into the sky. Patch opens up an umbrella to help him float down to the ground, which is like a mile downward. He does it like it is routine and nothing different from a usual day. When he lands, it's a forest. It is the Amazon rainforest. What? Patch, why do you live here? Come on. Hey, Patch, are you contributing to deforestation? Patch says, I don't know, hee. Maybe. What? Come on, Patch. That's really bad. Don't. Come on. Do you promise you didn't mean it, at least? Okay, Patch says, I promise. Nice. Thanks, Patch. The end. So, that story is truly, it's hard to know how to read that at the end with all these pauses, but it's part of the struggle, and, I don't want to talk about it. There's actually a story in here that gets to the end, and it's like, there's nothing else I wish to say about this. The end. I like writing these stories. This one is called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. More like Santa Claus 2 is Coming to Town. Lol. Once upon a time, there was a person named Kirsten who was 90. Well, she was farming outside in 11,000-degree hot weather. It was dang hot. And Kirsten kept saying slang words like, this is scorching. This is very warm. Hot mama, this is what I call hot. And this is too hot. I'm scared of becoming dehydrated or getting heat stroke. Lastly, she said, I'm burning up like a Jonas. It was really weird of her. Well, some local newscasters got word of her catchy sayings, and they actually honored her as a local spoken word author. Kirsten got a book deal on Penguin Classics. Her book was called I Love Calculator. It's a math book. Wow. What's her secret? I don't know. The end. Indeed. Okay, so I think we're in waning gibbous right now. Does anybody know the moon phase? Waning gibbous. It's probably getting about down to a half. I love the moon, and it's probably rising at a decent time. You could catch the moon rising at about 11, 12, midnight, maybe 1 a.m., something in there. If you are interested, there's actually, I will plug this app. There's an app on, if you have an iPhone, there's an app called Moon, where you can get the moon information, the phase and the time it rises, time it sets, and all that. It'll tell you the direction that it is in the sky currently. that'll help you moonwatch. This story is the moonwatching story. It's the moon story, and it does include a gun violence. Okay. This story is called If You Kept a Log of When You Pooped, It Would Be Called a Poop Log. Ryan is one of the only militant moon lovers on Earth. There was a dark time in Ryan's past when he was known primarily for killing someone and all their extended family members for saying they didn't see what is the big deal about the moon. Well, eventually all that blew over. But still, not too many people can relate to Ryan's level of lunar passion. Some can, but not many can. One day, Ryan started a militant moon advocacy group called We Would Have Sex with the Moon If Possible. WWHSWTMIP. Only 3 people came. Connor, Tommy, and Pippin. On the first day of the group, they went around and said their favorite aspects of the moon. Connor started off, quote, I like that all the moon phases do something different for me. The full moon is cool because that's when everybody is paying attention to the moon, not just me. So it's more like a party, and the brightness is just breathtaking. Waxing gibbous is probably actually my favorite because it's like the hours leading up to that big party. Sometimes the anticipation can be better than the party itself. I also love waxing crescent because its position as the first phase after the new moon is like, thank you God the moon is back. I miss it so much. I love waning crescent because it's the last phase and I'm forced to appreciate the last days of the moon before it disappears into new moon. New moon, of course, has value even though it is just an absence because, heck, it gives the waxing and waning crescent all their meaning. Now, I used to think that waning gibbous was the only bad phase because it's so weak and it's difficult to appreciate it right after the thrill of the full moon. It's like the hangover after a big party, right? But now I see that waning gibbous is a spiritual challenge for myself. Can I appreciate this weak-ass moon phase even though its gift is much more subtle than the rest? I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you can appreciate a waning gibbous, you can appreciate anything. And that means sitting, breathing, walking. You can appreciate the most boring and simple parts of life. Practice appreciation by loving a waning gibbous. Cool answer. It's not over, but that's the end of the quote from Connor. Cool answer. Then it was Tommy's turn to say his favorite moon aspect. Tommy said, I love the man in the moon. I think it's cool. There was a silence as the rest of the group waited for him to continue. When he didn't continue, it was obvious they had a fraud in their midst. Ryan pulled out a revolver and shot Tommy in the chest 5 times in a row. We Would Have Sex with the Moon if Possible still meets up to the present day. Be careful what you say about the moon. Indeed. You like it. Good. I feel like I thought I came up with something to say during that, but I don't remember what it is. Good job. Seattle. Is Macklemore here? I was hoping Macklemore would come out. I specifically decided in advance, so if Macklemore did show up, I would not let him freestyle. But I would let him watch. Okay, this is a great story that I'm going to read to you. Called, At Parties, My Main Focus is High-Fiving People and Telling Them They're Doing a Great Job. Once there was a woman named Amy who runs a restaurant. The main point of the restaurant is that anything can happen in there. It's not predictable. Sometimes they would even break legal restrictions with this. Like they would have an actual dead horse fall from the ceiling during lunch because that's really unexpected. And it makes all the visitors feel like, wow, I will never forget this moment. That's what Amy likes to chase. In any given stretch of time, like a month or a week, she realized she could intentionally increase the amount of memorable experiences she had by just seeking new and bizarre situations. And then she will have more distinct memories she can remember, and then when she is looking back on her life, it will seem like it was longer. Amy's husband, Sean, was an inspiration, too. He was good at this. Sean did all this in 1 week. 1, put his hand inside of a dead orangutan's mouth. 2, put his hand inside of a dead koala bear's dead hand skin. 3, put his whole leg inside of a dead Great Dane. He was pretty good, but Amy is great at bringing this into the food service industry. One mom's testimonial said, quote, "It was really scary when the waiter brought us a dead lawyer instead of food. But later I realized I will never forget that moment. The look of fear and confusion on my children's faces. We had a moment together that will last forever for us. Other days keep coming and going with nothing memorable. But that day in the restaurant is forever. Thank you, Amy, so much. You were the most important person in my life. I love you, Amy. Will you marry me?" And Amy actually said yes to me, even though she's already married. The end. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, this one is called "A Space Heater Would Have to Be Huge." "Well, it's time to clean my dad," Renee says, pouring the blood of a dead priest from a mason jar into a 1-liter Voss water bottle in her kitchen. Renee's dad seems normal in almost all regards, but he has somehow convinced his family and close friends to take turns cleaning him with the blood of dead holy men. Also, Renee's dad is nicknamed the human car alarm, because when people scare him, he makes loud car alarm sounds, and it takes over 5 minutes to get him to stop. Well, anyway, on this day, Renee approaches her dad, and Renee is wearing a monocle for some reason. Actually, there is no reason, I take that back. And she is holding the blood bottle. Anyway, her dad is scared by the monocle, and Renee's dad starts making car alarm sounds very loudly. It is awkward. It seems really immature of him, but it's actually just a reaction like an allergy. Nothing he can do about it. Well, Renee's mom walks in from the other room. She says, "Dear God, Renee, what did you do now?" To the human car alarm, our dear father. All of a sudden, a dead clown falls out of the ceiling of their home onto the sofa next to Renee's dad. Everyone goes silent. There is a note in the dead clown's hand. Renee says, "Now what could that little note say?" She goes over to look at it. The note says, "Hee hee." Nothing else. The end. Wow. Truly fucked up. How's everybody doing? I think you might be getting worn out. I think I'm battling you with this poetry, and you are fatigued. You don't know, you're running in a maze, and you keep hitting up against the wall, and you're scared. And I understand that. These stories are not for the faint of heart. So I might play some board games later. I might watch Liar Liar on VHS later. Who here's seen Liar Liar in the past month? Who here has seen Shrek in the past month? Good. Who here has seen Shrek 2 in the past month? Who here has seen Shrek the Halls in the past month? I want to see Shrek the Halls real bad. Because I was talking about Shrek and in Denver, and I realized that I still haven't seen Shrek the Halls. So it is a movie. Who here has seen Shrek the Halls, period? A couple. Good. What's your review? The A-OK signal. It's clear to go. I believe it. Actually, in Denver, I recorded for a new video. I was outside and I was yelling that I love Shrek more than anyone in Denver. Challenging people to come out of their homes and demonstrate their love of Shrek more than mine. Nobody came out. Nobody would face the music. I love Shrek more than anyone in Denver. Shrek's fandom is enormous. If Shrek told everybody to do something, they would do it. A lot of people would act. That's power. Okay, just gonna read a couple more stories and then I will be done. There's maybe three that I will read. I will tell you about this book, though. I have this book called Calculating How Big of a Tip to Give is the Easiest Thing Ever. Shout out to my family and friends. And it is the advanced copy because I was working on this book. I've been actually working on it for a long time. And I was finally like, I should get it done before this tour. But I was like, no, I should really revise it a little bit more and maybe add a couple more stories. But I really needed to have something on tour because it makes touring a lot more financially viable to have something like that. This is $10 I have for sale, and it helps a lot if you want to get it. But I will admit there's upsides and downsides to getting it because it is the advanced copy. The upsides is that it is very rare. There's not going to be that many copies printed in this version, and I can write something in it for you tonight. The downside is that it might be, the final version might have a couple stories a little bit different, or maybe a couple stories added or something. So, but I do have them for $10, and I also have a card reader for the credit cards. I do have that. Okay. This story is called "Together We Can Burn Down John Mayer's Home." Julia loves trees so much. One day she climbed a tree and it was so high it went to the moon. Then she was on the moon and she said, "Wow, truly, this is truly fucked up. I am now on the moon. Wow, very rare. I love this. This is truly fantastic for me." She started a new country called, actually, Moon Country. Cool. Well, now it was 10 p.m. and Julia was tired. She needed to eat popcorn and then go to sleep. Julia said, "Damn, this day has been so top-notch for me. I love today." Then she went to sleep. She was perfect while she slept and perfect when she woke up. Julia was perfect forever. The end. Beautiful, beautiful. This is a very rare story. Truly. Oh, so I have a friend named Sextus Gillig who was just recently telling me that she was reading through the Bible, and there's this thing where Jesus always says, "Truly, truly, I say to you." It seems really cool. I always said that before when you said something. But anyway, okay. So this one is good. This one's called "I Feel Nostalgic for the Barbecue Scenes in the Fast and Furious movies as if they were from my own life." Duncan is a fucker. Always has been, always will be, and he loves it. This is who I am, baby. This is my one life, and I am ready to die at any moment. That is Duncan's wily persona and attitude toward life. He likes to demonstrate how willing he is to die at any time. He just doesn't remove himself from dangerous situations. One time he drank kerosene. He truly does not care one way or the other. But then Duncan met Jesse at a Baja Men concert. And for the first time he thought, I want to stay alive. Well, he liked some of Jesse's personal characteristics. They loved watching TV together, but muting the TV and doing voiceovers of the characters. One time they were doing that, and Jesse had a character say, my dad is a Republican clown. Haha, please help me. And Duncan had the other character say, no, I hate your dad. He spray painted my camper with Who is Ron Paul during the 2008 election, and I still don't forgive him. However, I do love all humans on Earth, so yes, I will help you. Jesse felt so moved by that. Jesse cried. Duncan said, do you want to get married? And Jesse said, yeah. They were happy for their whole life. Oh, that's the end of that one. Now, I do have something to say earlier. I was thinking about, because of this willingness to die thing, made me think of it. Maybe it's not worth discussing. Maybe I can discuss it, though. I'll try, and if it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, I won't. But I was thinking earlier, and I was very scared because I was thinking about consciousness and all the things that inside of my head, and I was thinking about, okay, so because we all are conscious, and because we all believe in the self, we all believe that we are this, we are the thing that our mind is, and our brain is inside of, we are personally invested in our own survival and getting resources and so forth. And it's very interesting because it seems like possibly this just, I mean, maybe not, there's different explanations for this, but possibly this consciousness only exists because it was evolutionarily advantageous for us to be self-interested in our own survival. It's very interesting because we have gone on to do very interesting things with consciousness and you know, culture and values and morals and everything, but possibly it is just because it was evolutionarily advantageous for us to have a mind and think that we are people. So that was strange to think about, because that is really, it's weird. But then I was watching cars go by, and I was like, we are like little ants. We truly are like little ants. We are like doing all this stuff, and if we were from above looking at us, we would be like, they are like ants. But ants are industrious, and so are we. They can build a lot of stuff. Okay. I will read two more things. This story is called The Need to Continually Earn Money for Food, Shelter, etc. Makes it very difficult to become the best possible version of yourself. The profit motive is supposedly meant to motivate people to go contribute value to society, but not all forms of value are equally monetizable in our system. I love taking photographs. It means so much to me, lol. Nicholas says this while standing in a deep freezer alone in his home. He doesn't have a camera or anything with him. It seems like an absolutely nonsensical statement to make at the time. Without warning, a doctor walks into the deep freeze, holding a Roomba in his arms and petting it like a cat. Nicholas says, "Who are you? And what are you doing in my deep freeze?" The doctor says, "I love my Roomba. I'll never go back to manual vacuuming in my life." Nicholas says, "How long have you had your Roomba?" The doctor says, "Long enough." Suddenly, the doctor draws a pistol from his lab coat, dropping the Roomba to the ground where it smashes. The doc points his gun toward Nicola. "Hand over the Chromebook," the doctor says. "Hand over my Google Chromebook. I know you have it." Suddenly, an explosion hits above. The lights go out. Chunks of the hard ceiling fall to the floor. Nicola evades them. Dust is everywhere. Nicola finds his way to a rare hidden nook in the deep freeze. Nicholas scrambles to pull out his phone. He is breathing hard. He can see his breath in the glow of the screen. He opens up the dating/hookup app Tinder on his phone. He starts looking through his recent matches. He has a few. Nice. Okay. Now, I know there's going to be a show that was coming on at 9:30. Is that happening? Oh, really? Okay. So I don't have... Okay. Well, then I'll read this last story. And we can celebrate! So, hey, congrats on the Seattle Seahawks going to the championship game. My native team, the Detroit Lions, has failed once again. I heard through the grapevine that they were doing well this year. Well, not well enough. Good for them, though. It's not about winning and losing. It literally is not. Did you guys know that there was this great Ray Lewis clip where he's like, they lost the Super Bowl, right? I think it was the Super Bowl they lost. Maybe it was a different game they lost, but he was quoted saying that, we got an opportunity to keep going. He said, we got an opportunity to go out there and make somebody smile. He loved losing. And he said there can only be one team that wins, and if we won, somebody else would be feeling this way, or whatever, it's just very positive. That's all I'm trying to just translate the positive emotions. Ray Lewis, though, every time I talk about Ray Lewis, because I found a lot of positive stuff he said, but also a lot of people point out he murdered somebody. But I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but he does deny that he murdered somebody, but, he may have murdered somebody, we don't know. Okay. Is there anything else I need to say about football in general? I feel like I have a need to communicate something deep about football, but I don't know what. Sports. I am getting into running, and I'm trying to get better into running because last summer I got into running a little bit. I built up, there's many apps on the phone that you can get that are couch to 5K. They can build you up so that you can run up to a 5K, even starting from nothing. They tell you walk now, and then run. And then they build you up to running longer and longer so that I can run now longer, which is amazing because when I was a child, I had exercise-induced anaphylaxis, which is basically like asthma, but a little bit more complicated. But it's basically like I couldn't run that much. So in gym class, I would just walk for the mile, for the running and stuff. So I never ran that much in my life. So it was great running last summer. I was like amazing, but then I got some shin pain. So So now I'm learning the correct running form, and I'm going to run better. And oh yeah, it's on, but I might run very far. That's just a warning. 2015. Yeah. Does anybody else like sports? Nope. Okay. Okay, I will finish now. I'm just so nervous. I'm just so nervous to be done because I don't like things to end. Life, for example, will be okay. I'm really gonna move on now. I think, okay. But I will need some hugs after this. If anybody, it's totally optional to hug me, but if you want to, it is appreciated. And I also do have books for sale. And if you do have fruit that you want to donate to me, I do accept fruit. Okay. This story is called Calculating How Big of a Tip to Give is the Easiest Thing Ever. Shout out to my family and friends. John was 10 years old. Wow, young. John was sitting in the bathtub. The tub was dry and he was eating corn nuts off the floor. I don't know, Fuck off. How am I supposed to know everything about the story? It's John's life, not mine. Why don't you ask him? Anyway, I'm sorry. I am sad about the police, government, and military acting on behalf of the United States and the world. I disagree with almost everything they do, and I am worried about the ideologies which allow them to justify their actions to themselves. How did they get those ideas in their head, and what other actions could that kind of belief system justify? Now I'm worried about the ideology inside of my own head, too. I was taught from a young age. I was taught to be a man, for example, and I am scared of how this is affecting my view of the world and humans. I have feelings about what is right and wrong in my head, and I don't trust them. I have feelings about what are my favorite things in the world, and I don't trust them. I have learned everything from the previous humans, and mostly from the white men who control the media and the schools and the church and the press. And do I really trust them? I don't. Do I really trust them? I don't. Do I really trust them? I don't. Thank you.
So that's all we've got as far as poetry is concerned. On a serious note, Whole Earth was broken into a few days ago, and so I'm not going to say that a suggested donation would be appreciated because not everybody has the same financial means, but an analytical thought process about whether or not you are able to give a suggested donation would be appreciated. Yeah, the jar's by the door. Elissa has books by there, and Steve has books. So go buy those. Thanks.